The Ponyville schoolhouse, which was so welcoming during the day, looked incredibly creepy at night. Of course, thought Applebloom, that might be because we know there is an invisible monster lurking inside. The ponies hid in the bushes by the playground and looked warily at the school.
Everything is set up. This is it. Is every pony ready?
Applebloom asked.
Why are we doing this at night again?
Sweetie Belle replied nervously.
For the 100th time. We're doing it at night because we don't want an invisible Bogle knocking over every single pony in Ponyville during the day.
Scootaloo said.
Okay.
Sweetie Belle muttered.
Doesn't make it any less scary.
We have the paint?
Applebloom asked.
Yes.
Lilymoon nodded toward the bag next to her.
I just hope Rarity doesn't notice everything we borrowed.
Sweetie Belle said.
It's for a good cause.
Applebloom reminded her. The ponies all sat in the bushes, none of them moving.
Maybe we should go check everything in the forest one more time.
Sweetie Belle suggested.
No more stalling. It's time to get in there.
Applebloom said.
Let's go.
The ponies all crawled out of the bushes and approached the schoolhouse. They crept up the stairs toward the front door. It was chained shut with a giant padlock on it.
Oh well, guess that's that.
Sweetie Belle said, turning to walk down the steps. Scootaloo stopped her while Applebloom and Lilymoon studied the lock.
Think you can pick it?
Applebloom asked.
I don't know how to pick a lock.
Lilymoon said, annoyed.
Hey guys.
Scootaloo whispered.
Can't you use magic?
Applebloom whispered.
Guys.
Scootaloo said louder.
I don't want it to come with magic.
Lilymoon insisted.
Guys.
Scootaloo called. Applebloom and Lilymoon turned. Scootaloo and Sweetie Belle were standing next to one of the schoolhouse windows. Scootaloo slid it open.
Everything needs to be super complicated. Come on.
Applebloom and Lilymoon hurried down the stairs with a bag of supplies and followed Scootaloo and Sweetie Belle through the window and into the schoolhouse. The schoolhouse was dark. Even with Lilymoon and Sweetie Belle lighting their horns, it was still hard to see. The books were all restacked in precarious arches, each book carefully placed. The desks and chairs had been removed from the ceiling and now magically lined the sides of the walls. In their place, pictures drawn by the students plastered the ceiling in strange patterns. Miss Cheerily's desk was in the center of the schoolhouse, upside down on the floor. The curtains from the windows were placed in swirling shapes around it. Applebloom's ears perked up.
Y'all hear that?
She asked. But the ponies listened quietly. Steady breathing was coming from the center of the room.
Is this Bogle snoring?
Scootaloo asked. Applebloom nodded. She motioned to the bag next to Scootaloo.
Get ready.
Applebloom whispered. Scootaloo reached in and pulled out 2 cans of paint. She handed one to Lilymoon and held on to the other one.
Ready.
Scootaloo whispered back. Applebloom nodded to Sweetie Belle, who nervously rushed over to one side of the classroom, while Applebloom headed to the other side. Scootaloo and Lilymoon quietly carried the cans of paint as close as they dared to Miss Cheerily's desk. Every pony turned to watch Applebloom for the signal. Applebloom gulped and quickly wondered if Applejack was ever this scared when she was saving Equestria. She pushed the thought aside and looked to make sure every pony was ready.
Now!
Apple Bloom yelled. She kicked hard, knocking over the stack of books closest to her. Sweetie Belle leaped onto one of the chairs stuck to the wall and pried it down. It fell to the ground with a loud crash. The snoring in the center of the room stopped. Scootaloo and Lilymoon both heaved the paint cans. Pink and purple paint flew through the room and landed on something. That very scary something, covered in pink and purple paint, rose slowly and let out a ferocious roar. The Bogle was awake.
I think we made it mad.
Scootaloo yelled as she kicked over another pile of books.
You think?
Apple Bloom called back.
Keep it up. We need to make sure it's really, really mad.
The ponies rushed around the room, destroying as much as they could while ignoring the angry Bogle. Apple Bloom couldn't make out all the details. Bogle was still invisible. But thanks to the pink and purple paint, she could see it was a little bit smaller than Big Mac and had horns on top of its head. Massive arms, long spindly legs, and a powerful spiked tail. No wonder it was invisible. It was ugly.
Okay, the first part of the plan worked.
Sweetie Belle squeaked as the Bogle rushed toward her. It tried to grab her, but she ran between its legs.
Can we get to the second part now, please?
Every pony out the window.
Apple Bloom yelled. The ponies all rushed toward the front of the schoolhouse. They dived through the open window and landed in a heap in the bushes below.
It's coming.
Lilymoon grunted. The ponies untangled themselves and ran across the playground. Apple Bloom looked back over her shoulder just in time to see the Bogle crash through the front door of the schoolhouse, easily breaking the chain and lock.
Miss Cheerily is not gonna like that.
Sweetie Belle wailed.
At least the monster isn't in the schoolhouse anymore.
Scootaloo said.
That's progress.
They ran toward the bushes, and Scootaloo brushed some leaves and branches aside, revealing her scooter.
Okay, Scootaloo. You go ahead and make sure everything's ready.
Apple Bloom ordered.
We'll be right behind you.
Scootaloo nodded as she put on a headlamp and jumped onto her scooter. She sped off into the darkness. Apple Bloom turned to see the Bogle knock aside the playground seesaw as it rushed toward them. She nodded at the others and took off in the same direction as Scootaloo, the Bogle close behind him. They rushed through the empty streets of Ponyville, always turning back to make sure the Bogle was following. Apple Bloom looked ahead and could see the edge of the Everfree Forest and the path Crusaders had used earlier to follow Lilymoon. She couldn't believe that had been just this afternoon. When she woke up this morning, she never would have guessed she would end the day being chased through the center of town by an invisible monster.
Come on. Yo, the forest is just over there.
Apple Bloom called. They rushed toward the path. Behind them, the Bogle knocked over carts and took chunks out of several buildings as it rushed to catch him. Apple Bloom hoped her plan would work. She didn't want to find out what the Bogle was going to do to them if they failed. Apple Bloom ran as fast as she could next to Lilymoon and Sweetie Belle, their horns the only source of light, now that the moon and stars were blocked by the leafy canopy of the Everfree Forest.
You sure this is the right way?
Lilymoon asked Apple Bloom.
I think so.
Apple Bloom said, squinting into the darkness.
Look, over there!
Sweetie Belle shouted. Apple Bloom saw a bright light ahead of him. She and the others rushed toward it. The ponies raced into the clearing where Lilymoon had originally found the Bogle. Now, it was completely transformed. It didn't look anything like it had earlier in the day. Lanterns hung from tree branches, bathing the clearing in a warm, cozy glow. Fabrics of every color and pattern were stretched between the trees, creating a colorful tapestry that flowed gently in the breeze. Rocks were arranged carefully in swirling patterns on the ground, and in the center of all it, piles of cloth were organized into an inviting nest.
Psst.
A voice from above caught Apple Bloom's attention. She looked up to see Scootaloo waving to them from the branches of the tree. Apple Bloom, Sweetie Belle, and Lilymoon rushed up to join her. They all quietly watched the clearing below. The paint-covered Bogle burst into the clearing, expecting to find a bunch of scared ponies. Instead, it found its transformed nest. It stopped, looking around, confused. It growled menacingly as it slowly circled the clearing. It brushed its tail along the cloth and gently tapped the lanterns, watching them sway back and forth. It studied the patterns of the rocks on the ground, tapping each one with a claw as it passed.
I think it's working,
Scootaloo whispered.
Shh! Quiet!
Sweetie Belle hissed. The Bogle tested the nest of fabrics in the center of the clearing. It sniffed them, rearranged them, sniffed them again, and finally plopped down and burrowed into them.
I think the Bogles likes its old nest again.
Lilymoon said.
Well, as my sister would say, you can't argue with good taste.
Sweetie Belle added. Below them, the Bogle purred happily. Rocks floated magically into the air as the Bogle rearranged them into new patterns.
Aw, it's kind of cute when it's not roaring and chasing you.
Scootaloo said, grinning.
One question.
Sweetie Belle whispered to the others.
Now that the Bogle is happy, how are we getting out of this tree?
The ponies all looked at one another.
I guess we gotta wait for it to go back to sleep.
Apple Bloom said.
That's what I was afraid you were gonna say.
Settled in as comfortably as they could to wait for the Bogle to go to bed. Apple Bloom didn't remember falling asleep. But she must have, because the next thing she could remember was waking up to Sweetie Belle, gently nudging her with her hoof.
I think it's safe.
Sweetie Belle whispered. Apple Bloom peered sleepily down at the Bogle's nest. Some of Rarity's fabric was magically hovering in the air over the Bogle's nest. It was curled up underneath them, still covered in paint, and snoring loudly.
Those lanterns are brighter than they were before.
Apple Bloom said with another yawn.
That's not the lanterns.
Scootaloo said. Apple Bloom blinked a few times and realized the warm glow wasn't coming from the lanterns, but instead from the sky in the east.
Oh, Celestia, we've been out all night.
Apple Bloom yelped loudly enough that the Bogle below snorted and stirred. The ponies all froze until it resumed its snoring. Apple Bloom and the others carefully crawled out of the tree and slowly snuck around the edges of Bogle's nest, careful not to disturb anything. Once they were a good distance away, Sweetie Belle turned to the others.
Do you think that's it?
She asked.
It's just gonna stay there?
I think so.
Lilymoon said slowly.
Everything I read made it sound like a Bogle lost its nest. It just wants to be left alone. I think as long as no pony goes looking for it again, we should be fine.
Let's hope so.
Apple Bloom said as they walked out of the ever-free forest into Ponyville.
Oh.
Scootaloo said. The Crusaders and Lilymoon watched as ponies rushed around, shouting and examining the destruction left by the Bogle. Scootaloo turned to the others.
You think we're gonna get in trouble for this?
There you are!
A voice called out from up ahead. Apple Bloom saw Applejack marching toward her. Granny Smith and Big Mac close behind.
Yep.
Apple Bloom said.
We've been worried sick. Where in the name of Celestia have y'all been all night?
Applejack shouted as she marched toward the Crusaders. Before Apple Bloom could answer, another voice broke through the crowd.
Lilymoon, what have you done?
Illumination shouted as she and Blue Moon came bursting through the crowd.
Hey, y'all.
Apple Bloom said,
So what happened was...
I went into the Everfree Forest by myself and a bowl followed me out.
Lilymoon admitted, stepping in front of Apple Bloom.
That's what attacked the school. I'm to blame. The Cutie Mark Crusades helped me lure it back into the forest, where it wouldn't hurt any pony.
Lilymoon turned to Apple Bloom.
I couldn't have done it without my friends.
Lilymoon's parents' eyes went wide. A Bogle? Her father asked. Really?
Tell us everything.
Her mother said.
How did they lure it? What did it look like? Oh, darling, I'm so impressed.
Impressed?
Granny Smith blurted out.
I'd be more impressed if she'd leave dangerous monsters alone in the first place.
Lilymoon's parents glanced at the Apple family and shared a look. Illumination said curtly.
Yes, well, we need to get Lilymoon home.
We apologize for any problems this might have caused.
Blue Moon said.
We will keep a no closer eye on Lily. There's no need to bother her. Come, Lilymoon.
Her parents turned and walked off. Lilymoon obediently followed, but looked back and mouthed the words, "Thank you," to the Crusaders as she walked away.
Yeah,
Scootaloo said.
there's definitely something strange about that family.
Sweetie Belle and Apple Bloom nodded. Applejack looked down at Apple Bloom.
Is what she said true?
Applejack asked.
You went and helped her catch this Bogle thing she set loose?
Yeah.
Apple Bloom replied.
Well, why didn't you ask for my help?
Applejack looked more hurt than angry. Apple Bloom glanced at Scootaloo and Sweetie Belle, who nodded encouragingly. She turned to Applejack.
'Cause you're my big sister and I love you. But you save Equestria like every other day. I just wanted to show you I can be as brave as you are.
Apple Bloom looked down sheepishly. Applejack studied her sister thoughtfully.
Now listen.
Applejack finally said,
You are one of the bravest ponies I've ever met in my life. And I know some pretty brave ponies, but you're also my little sister. I'm always going to worry about you, and I'm always going to want to help you. It don't mean I think you can't help yourself. It's just what big sisters do, got it?
You really think I'm brave?
Apple Bloom asked, smiling.
Of course I do.
Applejack replied. Apple Bloom considered that for a second.
Well,
She finally said,
then just stop being so amazing all the time, and I won't have to work so hard to keep up.
Applejack burst out laughing and hugged her sister tightly.
I'll get right to work on that, but listen up.
She looked at Scootaloo and Sweetie Belle, including them in what she said.
One thing my friends and I never do is run and go looking for danger. I have a feeling y'all are going to have plenty of adventures that are going to give us all kinds of panic attacks. But don't go making trouble when you don't need to. Y'all should have told us about this Bogle.
We're sorry.
Sweetie Belle said.
But we were pretty awesome.
Scootaloo added.
I have no doubt.
Applejack said, grinning.
And if I'm being honest, I'm pretty impressed. Y'all are going to have to tell me about this Bogle.
A shriek ripped through the morning air, causing every pony to freeze.
What in Equestria happened to my fabrics?
Rarity screamed from her boutique. Sweetie Belle slowly turned to the others.
We are in so much trouble.